COMET, are you ready? All right, so it's the end of April, and I thought I'd spend some time going over the games I played this last month. COMET. COMET, come over here. If you want to be in the video, come over here. All right, so it's the end of the month, and I thought I would spend some time talking about the games that I played over the course of the month, and I'll give you my impressions, plus also which game was game of the month. COMET's over here scratching the chair. Come on up, COMET. There she goes. So it's been a pretty busy week in terms of playing board games this month for me. All right, let's just go through these in the order I remember them. COMET is clawing at my foot. COMET, pick a spot. All right, so let's start off with Tanglewoods Red. This is from Chip Theory Games. They sent us a bunch of the stuff to play. So we got to play Tanglewoods Red, which is the one that comes in the 20 strong core box. And this one is a lot of fun. It's a solo game. It's a dice chucker, but it's a very strategic dice chucker. And it's also very, very difficult. It's a hard game. I played it on stream a few times. I think I played it something like 6 times before I actually got a win. And this one's pretty clever in that there's a map that you're going through, and it reminds me of Slay the Spire a little bit in the terms of that there's a map. It's definitely a roguelike game, and for that I appreciate it. It's very difficult, but super fun, and once you get the hang of it, once you know what you're doing and what you're supposed to be doing, it's pretty cool. I really enjoyed my time with this one this month. So we also played Neuroshima Hex. This one, Neuroshima Hex, is a tile-based game. You're drawing 3 tiles, think of like Carcassonne, but you're battling other people, and those tiles let you do stuff like move around or attack or activate your special abilities. Now, this one's been around for a while, and we played, I think, the deluxe or a revamped version of it. Somebody brought it to the table. This one didn't really appeal to me that much. I don't know if it was just the gameplay or the game session we had where it just didn't really hit for me. I don't think it's a game that I'm going to be going back to, but I think for the time that I've known about this game, for the last 10 years it's been around or whatever, it's never really appealed to me just in terms of its thematic and visual look, its aesthetics. But the game itself it's okay. You're drawing 3 tiles, you're placing them out there, you're attacking each other, you're fighting each other, and the game's over, I think, once someone's base is completely destroyed. So in that game, like, once people figured out that they could just like chip away at me, they started chipping away at me and I was gone. But for now, it's kind of like a game I'm not really super excited to go back to. All right, next up we have Windmill Valley. This one was a super, super great surprise. It's been on my radar for a while. Hold on, I gotta put my phone here down so I can comment. So it's been on my radar for a while, and it's a Euro game, and it's very clever in that it has these personal boards that, COMET, you want to say something? COMET. So it has these player boards where each turn you're turning one of the gears, and it turns the other gear, and you're able to get the things that are in those gears, and you could add or upgrade things to make those things more powerful. And there's a board where you're putting out windmills. It's a very Euro-y game, but it looks heavier on the table than it actually is, and I found it really, really accessible, really fun. We got super competitive right off the bat. Everyone sort of got into the groove of what we were supposed to do. This one, yeah, from Board and Dice, definitely one that I want to play again, one that's going to be on my radar to play again, or to pick up if I find a good deal on it. In this economy, you gotta look out for deals. COMET, do you have anything to say? COMET, do you have anything to say about Windmill Valley? All right, so Lairs. Lairs is a game for 2 players, and it's sort of like Battleship meets D&D a little bit. And what you're doing is you're building a dungeon for your opponent. So there's rules to building the dungeons. There's components that you put out. There's nice little deluxified components that I played with because my friend Panda, she has a copy of it, and she let me one so we could stream it together. If you're interested in watching that stream, I'll put a link to it here if Amanda loaded up the VOD. If not, we're going to be streaming it a few more times and you could catch us then. But this one's really from Kids KTGB, I believe it's called, Kids Table Board Gaming. It's also very accessible and it's very open. The game starts off a little bit simply, but you keep adding stuff from the deluxe master set or whatever it's called, and you add more cards, you add more sort of enemies and components to really round out the game. And I think this one's really cool because on your turn, you have a notepad that you're starting off on. So you're using these action cubes to Comet's just looking at me like I'm talking to her. I am talking to Comet actually. So yeah, this one you use your cubes to take actions, to explore, to move, and the goal is to get out of the dungeon, but also to get a bunch of gold or to get a bunch of treasures and defeat some monsters, because if you leave the dungeon, what it's going to come down to is how many points did you get, either by getting treasures or defeating monsters. And this one's been a lot of fun. I played it way back like 3 years ago at PAX U, and it's one that I've been looking forward to playing. I might get my own copy and play with Lorena if that's possible later on, so check it out. We might be showing that on the channel or on a stream sometime. It's a really great two-player experience, a pretty unique one too. Think Battleship and D&D. All right, so War of the Ring. I found the copy of War of the Ring in the secondhand store some months ago, maybe in December, and I found it for $4.99, I believe, and it was missing a few of the minis, which I got through eBay, and which I bought the colored basis because I feel like you really need the colored basis for this one. But War of the Ring is a really fantastic game. It's a bit older. It's been around for a while. Second edition came out like in 2011, I want to say, and this one is a 1 versus 1 experience, although you can play it 2 versus 2 or 1 versus 2, but the preferred way to play is actually 1 versus 1, and I recommend that way to play because that game is super good. If you love Lord of the Rings, if you like games where you're battling against each other, where you're trying to conquer areas, this is a game you're going to enjoy. It's basically minis on a map, but also it's asymmetric, so the Free People's player, the player that controls the hobbits and all the other free peoples of Middle-earth, that player is trying to essentially take the one ring into Mordor and dunk it into the fires of Mount Doom. And this one's really, really, really impressive. So I got to play it a bunch of times. I taught it to 2 separate friends, so we played it 1 versus 1 a couple times. Then I played 1 versus 2, and it's really good. I played as the Free People's player, which the instruction book recommends that you do that if you're teaching the game, because the Shadow Player army is a bit more straightforward to conduct. But this one's so good. It's one of my favorite even all-time games. It's one that definitely I recommend to everybody. I do have a review of this on the 5x, so if you want to hear a more structured, well-written review, check that out for sure. Let's talk about some games that are on Kickstarter or were on Kickstarter by the time this comes out. The 2 of them, local designers, Meeple Vacation, Water Park, from Dino de Blasio through Play Through Z Games, and this one is a really fun game that surprised me. There was a Play 2 Z event that I was invited to, and it was a lot of fun. We got to play some games, check out some stuff. A couple of really big surprises there for me in terms of amazing games, one of which was Meeple Vacation, Water Park, a game from Dino de Blasio, and this one at the time was on Kickstarter. It's since been canceled, but I think they're going to bring it back sometime soon. And the game is really fun. It's a game where you're rolling or dropping meeples down a chute and then using those meeples to do things. So when you drop them down the little dice tower, they come out and they're either standing or they're on their backs or on their sides or on their heads, and you use all of a kind, like all the ones that are, standing up, you use them to take actions on the board. And it's a really fun game, super thematic. The theme really comes through in the game. They did a good job with this one. It's super fun. I recommend you check it out when it comes back on the Kickstarter circuit, if it does, which I think it will. Fantastic game, perfect for families. This is a really fun game for families, and I hope you check it out. So this is a game that I played a while back ago when they were prototyping it and showing it to people. Pack of Penguins from Imagine Bin Games. Designer Ben Lee has been working on this one for a while, and it's a really fun family weight game. It's a game about using your cards to place in relation to the other players, so you're getting benefits and you're getting the fish and eggs that you need. We streamed this one, and also we did a video of it for YouTube, so check that out. I'll link it here. Come on up, COMET. All right, so that one's really fun. It's perfect for families. It's perfect for younger players, and it's also a nice filler for board game nights, so check that one out. It might still be on Kickstarter when I put this out, but if not, find someone that has it and check it out. It's a real fun game, and it's a real cute design. The art by Kendall Gates is really cute too, so check that one out. We had fun with that one. This is another one from the Play to Z event that I went to. Yro, Y-R-O, I think that's what it's called, Y-R-O, Ero. I'm not too sure on how to pronounce the name. My apologies to Play to Z Games, but this one was a pretty interesting tableau builder. and you're building a 3x3 tableau, sort of like in castle combos, and you're using coins to buy them from your hand onto your tableau. And every round where you're taking a look at your tableau and seeing how much power you have, and the power is dictated by the top card in a column, and whoever has the most power gets a certain amount of points. Second place gets a different amount, and so on. And you're always trying to, like, the cards have lines on them, and those, when you link them up, when you complete 3 either up or down, horizontally or vertically, those are gonna, what is it, COMET? Those will give you a special bonus. They'll give you some more money or some more points, or like you do something. The art is like a chibi style art, and it's pretty cute. It's a fun game. People are going to compare it to Castle Combo. That's probably the comparison that's going to get made a lot. I think they both have their merits, depending, on what you're looking for. They're both meant to be like filler games that are not super heavy, so I think they both accomplished that. Check that one out from Play to Z Games. Also played Tanglewoods Gold. This one is about Goldilocks. I did a video for it, which should be out maybe next week or around the time of this video. That one is a little bit more difficult. It takes a bit longer, at least for me, because in that one you're pulling map cards, and on the map cards they have directions on them. So they'll have like north, south, west, 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 east. They'll have requirements on them, and you'll have to go through the forest deck picking out or finding those icons to complete the map. And they're going to be on enemies, they're going to be on fable cards, and you're going to build a big tableau and then go through that tableau and fight it. It's a fun game, it's an interesting game, but it's also very challenging in the 20 Strong series. I made a video for it, and it ended up being like 2 hours long. I cut it to 1.5 hours, I think. So when you see the video, it's kind of long, but I do explain all the cards and I go through the game. So I think it's worth a watch. At least that's what I'm saying. It's worth a watch. That's also a good one. Eventually I'll make my way through all the whole series of 20 Strong, and we'll have those on YouTube as well. All right, so here we have it. All right, so we got cut off, actually. We're going to keep on trucking, and we're going to keep on going with our list here of the games I played in April. Here's COMET still. I also played a bunch of Tanglewoods White, which is another game in the Tanglewoods series of games from 20 Strong. This one's a bit different. There's a grid of 3x4 cards that you're trying to traverse. What you're trying to do is you're trying to add cards to each of the castle towers, and that way when you get to the castle towers at the end of the game, those are actually mini bosses, and you're going to fight them. And the more cards you have there, the more dice you'll be able to roll against them. But they also have modifiers, and those modifiers are going to mess with you. So this one's another in the series of those games of 20 Strong that are really pretty difficult games. I feel this is the most accessible one. It's the most straightforward one, I think, for sure. And it's one that I've been enjoying playing. We'll record a video soon and put that out for everybody, but that one's really cool. I really enjoy that one. We also played 6 Suspects, which is a little card game. You're putting out a tableau of cards. It's a bunch of columns of cards, and those cards have different amounts of money. And COMET, ¿qué pasa? What's going on? My gosh. All right, so in 6 Suspects, you are trying to decide which of the columns has the most money, and the cards are face down, so you can't see what they are, but on your turn, you are peeking underneath a card. You're selecting one to peek and trying to remember what's in there, and then other players do the same thing, and then at a certain point, you could guess, or everyone's going to guess, to which column has the most amount of money. Whoever gets it right wins. It's a fun little card game. It takes about like 5 to 10 minutes to play. I recommend that one for a filler. That's a really fun one. 6 Suspects. I said it right that time. Sweet. All right, so Vadis is another one I played. Vadis is a negotiation game, and it's a pretty pure negotiation game where you are animals at the zoo, and you're trying to move into different enclosures to reach the top enclosure to be a park favorite or something. That's a theme. I don't know. I think that's a theme anyway. You know, when someone teaches you the game, you get sort of glimpses of the theme, but it's not always like, you don't always get the super true feel of the. But for this game, you're traveling across the map, and you're adding your pieces to the board, and you're moving them to different nodes on your turn. So you move a piece to a different node, and each node has a set number of people or pieces that could be in there. And in order to advance where there's other player pieces, you have to have a majority of the votes there to propel you forward. So naturally, you have to negotiate with people. Now, negotiation games are great, but they might not be for me. I'm not super great at negotiating. I'll tell you this right now. I feel like negotiation games kind of call for a person to be very savvy or very, very cutthroat about doing something in agreement with someone, getting into a negotiation with someone and coming to an agreement where you're going to get a benefit over the other person, right? Any negotiation that is on equal footing, that's not really going to help you in the game pretty much. You need to put yourself in a better position than other people. So what ends up happening is that the strongest person at negotiating or the loudest person comment. Pasa. Stop. Yeah, so negotiation games, they're not quite for me. I always feel that the person who ends up winning, ¿qué pasó? Yeah, negotiation games, you're either like getting a really good deal or you're not getting a good deal. There's really no in between. If both people are happy with the negotiation or the agreement they come to, they're both getting a terrible deal. So in order for someone to come ahead, someone else has to get the shaft, unfortunately. And I always feel that way in negotiation games. It's like when you're making a deal, you're always thinking, all right, who's getting the worst part of the deal here? And sometimes you don't see the whole picture and people put one up over you. So I see why a lot of people just shut down in negotiation games. I try not to do that, even though I'm not really great at negotiation games. But I see a lot of people in negotiation games just kind of like, I don't want to negotiate with people. I'm going to shut down. I'm just going to do what I can on my turn without depending on someone else, which in this game, it's difficult to win that way because you do need votes to propel yourself forward and get yourself into the enclosure that's on the other side of the board that's going to let you score points. And along the way, as you're traversing these nodes, the little pathways, they have victory points that are hidden. So you don't really know where people stand in terms of victory points. So that's kept behind your screen. The interesting thing is that each player character has their own ability that they cannot use on themselves. They have to use it on someone else. So it's like a favor you grant someone else. An example of this is one of the characters and one of the players in the game had an ability that lets you squeeze into a node or a little spot on the board where it's already full. So if there's no room for you, he'll let you get in there. He can't use it for himself, but as part of negotiating for a vote or for X, they can let you do that. And when they do, they get victory points. So it's all about balancing like how much you're giving versus how much you're getting. And like I said, negotiation games aren't for me. This was a much better playthrough than the previous one I had of this game, which was like about maybe a year or two ago. And I found it really, really interesting. I feel like this is a game you want to play with friends in a comfortable setting. If you're playing with strangers, I don't know, I would feel a little bit, at least personally, conflicted about trying to make a deal that puts yourself ahead, right? I don't know. Is that just me? Let me know in the comments below if you feel the same way. We could play a game together maybe, and we both will feel bad about trying to negotiate against each other. The artwork is amazing in Vadis. It's a fun game. I look forward to playing it again, even though I'm not a huge fan of negotiation games because this one's not super long, and with the right people, negotiation games for me really take off, and that's Vadis. All right, next we have another Play to Z game. It's The Brain. This is a small card game. If you remember The Mind, a game that came out some years ago where people were going out of their minds trying to argue whether it was an activity or a game. To me, it didn't really matter. I fall on the side that it's a game. There's a lose condition. There's a win condition. It's a game. You're playing it with other people. It's a game. But anyways, I digress. The Brain is from Play to Z Games, and I was given a free copy of it at the Play to Z event games that happened this month. And this one really surprised me. I do like it. I will say flat out, I do like it better than The Mind because I feel you have more agency. And the way this game works is that you have a deck of cards with different suits and colors and symbols on them. The goal of the game is to play out all your cards in your hands, all the cards from the deck, and all cards in front of you. So you don't have any cards anymore. Every player goes out. If there are less than 7 stacks of cards on the table, you win. So if it ever goes over that set number, and it changes by difficulty, so the way to win is to empty out your hand, play all your cards, play all the cards in the deck, everyone plays them out, and then, which sounds easy, but remember there's only 7 spots, but some cards have abilities, like one lets you put a card on top of a different card, one card lets you take back another card. Some cards let you eliminate all cards with a certain suit or color. And in that way, you're sort of you're manipulating the state of the game through your card play with the cards in hand to win. And one of the cool things is that there's a card that lets you donate a card to another player. And so you'll play a card and you'll donate a card to another player. And that card goes in front of them into an open tableau where we could all see what they have. And it's open information. So you could set each other up to do cool things. Like if you pass on a card that eliminates all the yellow cards, then we know like, hey, let's start putting out yellow cards out here so they'll get eliminated. Those stacks will go away and it'll make it easier for us to win. It's a super interesting game and one that I do feel it draws direct comparisons to the Mind. I feel like this one is better than the Mind, to be honest. And that's the Brain from Play to Z Games. All right, so I got sent a copy of A Familiar Find from Darrington Press. This is their card game that's set in the universe of Critical Role. And so what it is, it's a set collection game, and on your turn, you're taking one of the stacks on the table of cards, and then you add them to your collection. So you'll be able to see what some of those cards in the stack are. You'll be able to see them, but some of them are going to be flipped over. You don't know what they are. And you put them into your collection, and then you put cards from your own hand into the different piles. And you can put one that's face down, so you kind of hide things from the other players at the table. And in that way, you're putting out cards, you're taking cards, and you're putting out cards. You get a spell, the spells go off right away, but you're trying to collect sets of ingredients, and there's different criteria. So you could have like 2 of each, 4 of 2 different kinds. You could also win by collecting blue essences. So there's blue essence cards in the game, or astral essences, and those, if you ever have 3, you win automatically when you check for victory on your turn. There's also these red abyss essence cards, and those, if you have 3 of them, you lose the game. This is a really fun and cute game. It's a small box game, and I'm glad they sent it to me because I got to check it out and play it with some people, and also play it with Lorena on our stream. And it's one that I think it's going to appeal to players who want something lighter, who want something that's set in the world of Critical Role. Certainly, I think it's meant to be a game to sort of bring in more Critical Role people into the realm of board games and card games, which is fun. I think the artwork is really cute and it really works for this game. Everyone I've shown this game to always comments how great the art is. There are different player abilities for players, so you could choose like a bear that does something, or play without the special abilities. There's location effects, so when you put a card in a certain location or take cards, things can happen or be triggered, which is good if you want a little bit more for that game. That's A Familiar Find. Thanks to Darrington Press for sending that over for us to take a look at. All right, so we do have some party games that I want to talk about. A couple of party games I played. Yeah, one of them was at the Druid City Games event. They had an event which they invited me to, and it was a lot of fun, and thank you for inviting me. But in that event, we played some games, and they have a new game coming out this year. It's supposed to come out at Gen Con, so keep an eye out for that. It's called Sky 5. Here comes COMET. It's called Sky 5, and it's a card game, and it's a light party game for people. What it is, it's a deck of cards, and they have suits on them, like different color suits and numbers, and those numbers are going to be your points if you're able to bank them. So what is happening is on your turn, you're flipping over a card, and if you don't have that color yet, you can put it into your tableau, and whatever number on there is, that's going to be the point value of it if you get to bank them. So at any point on your turn, instead of taking an action actually on your turn, you could roll a die, and if you roll a number that's not in your tableau, so if you have 3, 4, 5, 6, and you roll a 1, you're able to pull all those into your bank, so you could score them at the end of the game. What's up, COMET? Now, the fun thing is that you can bust. There's like 5 or 6 colors, so if you ever pull a color that you already have, you need to pass it on to a different player, and you get to choose who it goes to. So you give it to someone that doesn't have enough points. The thing is, if you pull a red card and you already have a red card in front of you in the tableau, you need to pass it on to someone else. So when you do that, if everyone already has a red card on their own tableaus, then you bust. There's nowhere for that card to go, you bust. And what happens is that you bust and everyone takes the cards from your own tableau, like one at a time clockwise. They'll start taking the cards from your tableau, which is pretty funny. You can also bank automatically, so whenever you have one of each color, you'll automatically bank those numbers. So that's a good way to go too. Here's COMET. It's a super fun game, and it's going to be a good party game this year. I think it's probably going to be one of the hits of Gen Con, probably. Don't quote me on that. Actually, quote me on that. I think it's going to be a great hit for Gen Con. People are going to love it. It has that party vibe. It has that fun, quick, accessible touch to it, which is going to make it a real good filler and a real good party game. Speaking of party games, we also played Bullseye. That is me and COMET. I'm just kidding. Me and other people played Bullseye. It's a fun game from 25th Century Games, and it sort of reminds me of Just One. But in this one, so in Just One, you're trying to get someone to guess a word, right? Same thing here. You're trying to get someone to guess something. So I'll use an example of what happened when I played it. The category was sci-fi movies. So I was trying to guess the sci-fi movie that someone else had thought of for me, and everyone wrote a clue or had a clue in mind, a one-word clue in mind. They put down the first letter on their dry erase board. So I got R, X, another X, H, and U, and I couldn't figure it out from the clue. And it happens that when people do figure it out based on the one-letter clues, it's one of those magical party moments, and everyone really cheers and has fun. But for me, I was not able to pick it up on the first round. So then everyone passes their own dry erase board to the next person, and then they add the second letter in that clue. So then once that happens, you can see a little bit more, but you lose points. If you do it on the first go, you get the most points. And if you're wondering for my clue, what I was supposed to guess, the X was for Xenomorph, R was for Ripley, U was for United States Marine Corps, and what was the other one? H was for Hicks, I think, or Hudson. But that's the type of clues people are giving out. I should have picked up on that. I'm a little bit embarrassed that I didn't pick up on that, to be honest. But, it's a fun game, one that I'm definitely going to pick up when I get a chance so I could add it to my own party game collection. It's called Bullseye. It's from 25th Century Games. Definitely check that one out. All right, so a few years ago, I was super into deck building games, and I had a bunch of them, and I liked checking them out. I've grown a little bit, not tired, but just sort of a little bit disinterested in the deck building arena or the deck building genre. And recently someone mentioned that Mistborn, a game which I had seen and been on my radar for a bit, Mistborn was a good deck builder. I asked one of my friends if they could bring it to game night, and they did. And it actually was pretty good. This is Mistborn by John Declare. It came out a couple years ago, I believe. It's based on the Mistborn novels, and which I haven't read, so I can't really tell you how faithful they are to the books, but I'm assuming they are. But the game's a deck builder. There's an offer in the middle. You play cards to buy other cards, but you also have these elements. So you have like metals, zinc, copper, steel, and other such metals, and what they are, they're little tokens you keep on your board, and when you play a card, you use those, you fire those up, use the card. And at the beginning, you could only use one of them. So you're kind of limited, but you play out the card, you put your token on it, and then you do the thing that's on the card that lets you do some abilities or attack someone or move up on a mission card that's on the table. The clever thing is that you can buy more cards and use those to power other cards. And it's all about deck building and creating a little engine that's going to either grant you a bunch of movement on mission cards or attack other players. It has this interesting King of Tokyo-esque attacking thing where one player is the target, and whenever you use attack points, they go to them, so they get attacked, and they're able to decide, well, I'm going to stop being the target and pass it on to someone else, so they keep taking the hits. But the good thing is that when they attack the person with the target, they attack everyone at the table. So it is very much like King of Tokyo, but the comparisons kind of stop there. The game is very interesting. The combos that you come up with are pretty interesting. The accessibility of the game is pretty interesting. I do like the variability in the mission cards that you're trying to climb up. Those are another form of tracks, and I love tracks in board games. I love climbing up on tracks and triggering other tracks. It's definitely a fun one. I played it once. My friend let me borrow it so I could play it with Lorena on stream, so we might stream that soon. But definitely one I'm going to look forward to playing again. Mistborn by John Declare. Fantastic little deck builder. It makes me want to honestly find the books and read the books. Not that my reading list needs any more books added to it, but there you go. I also played Azure from Bitewing Games. It's a 2-player game. It's a really interesting one because you have this sort of modular 4-piece board, and you have mountains that go on those boards, and you're placing stones on your turn, and you're using cards to place them onto the board. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to control the mountains. So they have different requirements. Like some of them will say like you have to put stones in a row, and if you have the most stones horizontally and vertically, you're going to own that mountain and you get points, and some of them have a special effect that you could use. So there's 4 mountains in total, and they're these beautiful little plastic pieces. The game is semi-abstract, I would say. It does have a nice theme to it. It has beautiful art by Quancha Moria, and this game was a nice little pleasant surprise. I did enjoy it. Bitewing Games has been coming out with some really great stuff that makes me really, 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 really wish I would back more of these games. But yeah, this one's really good. Azure, really cool, fun little abstract game for 2 players. Beautiful art. Definitely worth checking out for sure. Citizens of the Spark is a tableau building card game in which you are, on your turn, you're selecting 2 cards from the offer to take. You pick a couple of the cards and they go into your tableau. and the cards have different actions they can do. And the more cards you have of that action, of that specific merchant or warrior or whatever it is, and then you're able to activate one of those. And the more cards you have, the better the effects. Some of them have you look at other players' icons on their tableaus and their cities. It's a very clever game that lets you also follow. So when you do an action, other players can follow. And this is just like points galore. Points are coming out of all these cards. There's so many points to get in this game. It's so good. And the things you can do with it are pretty clever. And you're always trying to see what other players are doing. Very pleasant game. I played with sort of basic version of it, which there are a ton more cards you can add, tons more of different abilities you can add. And there's a more cutthroat version where there's more player interaction. But we played the basic version of it to start off, and it's really good. I'm super, super looking forward to this one. That's Citizens of the Spark from Thunderworks game. Really fun game. Spooktacular is a game you would think would be right up my alley. It's about monsters coming alive at a movie theater, horror movie monsters coming alive at a theater and sort of scaring everyone and devouring guests at the theater. And the game has like a ridiculous amount of different player characters in it that are from like different tropes from different horror movies, which is great. The board gets filled up with all these little meeples, and you're sort of running around and pushing them out into different rooms and devouring them through clever card play. It seems like all the monsters in the game have different ways to play or different abilities. It's very asymmetric. It's a lot of fun. I chose my character based on what I thought was the coolest theme, which was sort of like a Rockstar revenge monster movie or something, Undead Rockstar, which I didn't notice it was like one of the easier characters to play, so my turns weren't that very exciting, at least for me. But the game is a lot of fun. The tokens look really cool. It's a fun looking game from Level 99 Games. I'm definitely going to check this one out again, want to play it again, and look forward to when that happens. I'll have more to say about that when I play a little bit more. There's so many different factions which I feel like the interaction of which could change the balance of the game maybe. So after one play, I'm not really going to draw a conclusion or have a real strong opinion about it, but it is a game that I'm looking forward to checking out again. All right, now for the top 2 games that I played this month. These are the ones that have my coveted gold COMET seal of approval. I just made that up, but actually, yeah, these are the 2 games that surprised me the most, that I enjoyed the most, and just really standout games for this month. In no particular order, these 2 sort of occupy the same space in my mind right now. One of which is Bloodstone. I did go to the Druid City Games event this month, and there we got a chance to play Bloodstone, which Bloodstone is the type of game that I'm usually not super into. Everyone against everyone, and there's a common boss in the middle that everyone's fighting. It's sort of like Diablo-esque, if you will. And this game really surprised me at how fast it plays, how clever it is. It uses dice really well. There's a lot of dice chucking, but every character at the table we played felt different and they had their own spin on things. It was a really fun game to play, and it really plays pretty quickly. I feel like the average game's gonna be like 45 minutes, certainly less than an hour for the game that we played. And I feel like the pace is pretty quick. So you have these cards that are activation cards, and everyone plays one secretly, and then everyone reveals. And those cards are going to dictate who goes, what's the turn order for the round. They also have an ability, so popping those off at a certain time is going to be what you're looking for to do in a clever way. And you're rolling a bunch of dice that's going to dictate how many hit points you're dealing out when you attack, and you're able to move and attack. And there's also special dice that increase your blood energy meter, which once you get all the way to the end of it, you can trigger your ultimate, which is a really awesome ability that each player has, and they're all different. So I was playing as the barbarian, and for the barbarian, once you reach your ult, you could deplete all your blood energy to add a 20-sided die to your arsenal of dice. So now, in addition to rolling 6-sided die for your damage, you're rolling these 20-sided die. And at the end of the game, I had something like 2 of them, 2 that I was able to add 2 of these 20-sided die. And it was really fun just rolling a bunch of die, doing like something ridiculous, like 40 damage on one turn. Everyone starts off with like 150 damage or so, and you're There's a big bad in the arena, and you're also fighting against them. So there's a chance that they could wipe out everybody and nobody wins. So you kind of have to deal some attention to the big bad in them, which is pretty cool. The minis look gorgeous. This is a game that's been in development or was going to come out some time ago, and it's going to be crowdfunded soon. And I think it's one that even if you're not super into games where like they have the big old minis and they look very combative, it's a game you should look into because I had a great time. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of those sort of arena battler type of games, but this one really surprised me with its brevity, its cleverness, and the look of it was pretty cool. The minis are gorgeous. I hope the minis come out as well as the ones we saw in our preview of it. But that's Bloodstone from Druid City Games. Well worth a check out. Gets one of this month's COMET seal of approval, which is a thing I just made up. Is it COMET seal of approval or COMET's golden seal of approval? I'll have to think about that. All right, and now for the game that really, really surprised me. One of the games that stayed with me this month. And that one is called Soothsayers. It's from Play to Z Games. So in Soothsayers, you have a bunch of cards in front of you. You take an action on those cards, and then you do the action on the card, and everyone else can follow you. What you're trying to do is you're trying to collect a certain amount of fate tokens. So one of the cards lets you earn money. Another one lets you draft more cards. Another one lets you upgrade your actions. And then another one also lets you capture the bigger tarot cards in the game, which have really sort of powerful abilities. And whoever has the highest level of any of the basic tarot powers or tarot cards gets a fate token to put on top of that. But it could be taken away if somebody surpasses you. So the game has like a lot of back and forth. You're constantly looking at other people's tableaus, to see what they have going on and see if you can take something from them or if someone's going to take something from you or is just about to take something from you. It's a really fun game. You're really building an engine. You're trying to do something special with it. You're trying to either like be able to buy fate tokens or you're going to be able to use your big tarot cards to convert other cards into tokens. Or maybe you're just trying to climb all the way up to level 6 for the specific actions and get a token. Once an action is at level 6, people can't really take it away from you. There are some cards that'll let you do that, but that's in the more cutthroat version. And that's one of the things I really like about this game. You could play it cutthroat. There's cards that you could add in that'll make it cutthroat. And there's cards like that are not very cut. So the game has some adjustability in terms for the group because not everyone wants to play super heavy-handed. Yeah, this one really surprised me. I can't stop thinking about it. I want to play it some more. It's a really good engine builder. It has like really classic tarot art that you're going to recognize when you see it. When you think of tarot, that's probably what you imagine in your head. And the art is really cool. It's a super fun game. I played it the most probably this month. It was probably between that and War of the Ring this month that I played the most. And just for the fact that it's a newer game, that's the one that I'm really stuck on this month. Soothsayers from Play to Z Games, fantastic game. Really good price point too. It's like something like under $30. Highly recommend it to you all. This one gets another COMET golden seal of approval. Name is pending on that, but COMET approves, I approve. And yeah, that's going to be my month of gaming. This April was fantastic for gaming. I had a great time going to the events that I was invited to. Thank you so much for inviting me to the Druid City Games event and the Play to Z Games event. Let me know in the comments below which game was your favorite from my list. And also let me know which game was your favorite to play this month of April. All right, so this is Cribbage and More. My name is John. That's COMET. And remember, I'm always down for a game. See you later.